Go live. Morning, boys. How are we? I think we're live. I'm actually on time today. Let me just get a quick Instagram story out to let people know where I am. Bear with me 2 secs. How is everybody doing in the chat? Gary Hunter, Frankie, Psycho with a Sword, N17 Stew, how you doing, mate? Yan Yanis and Ronnie Jones. How are we, everybody? How's everyone doing? I'm really upbeat. Lovely stuff. Oh God, sorry about that. I have to make sure the stream's like working. Okay, we're up. We're good. How's everyone? Sorry, lads. 2 seconds. I'm just getting a Instagram story post out to let people know where I am. I'm live. How is everybody doing? Tim, Nordiak, N17 Stew. I'm really upbeat. Love to see that. We're obviously going to talk about Solanke. We're going to talk about a lot of bits. A lot of stuff to talk about this morning. Earlier live stream than usual. Ali Gold quote just came out on Solanke. I've got that. What was that? Him saying that, as reported, we've been in for a long time. Is that what you're talking about? I've got that. Gary, I've also got what you sent me. I saw that before. From about Jamie Donnelly, if that's what you were talking about. Sorry, lads. 2 secs and we'll get going. Just need to put an Instagram story out to say I'm live. How is everybody anyway? Annoying play. How you doing? Travis, how you doing, mate? Jack Curtis, alarm was needed. I apologise for that. Instagram story out. How is everyone? Sorry, I keep asking that. Sorry, we'll be with you in 2 secs. Bosh. That Bournemouth braced himself for him. Oh, really? Is that... I did not see that. Oh, hold on. Let me just close this tab down. We'll get started in a sec, guys. Next. I've not seen this. Is that true, what Alistair Gold just said? Where is it? I've just seen this. We'll pull that up. If someone can send it to me, that'd be much appreciated. Oh, right. Okay, yeah. Got it. Sweet. Okay, right. Sorry, let me just get back up my tab. On here. Why is that not working? Can't see the chat. Hang on. Sorry, lads. Just give me a sec. Sorry, this is being annoying. Oh, God. Why is that not working? Sorry, I just need to pull this up on here so I can actually read the chat. Because it wasn't working. Oh, Fontaine's DC are playing Finsbury Park. Lovely jubbly. Oh, why is everything... Sorry, my YouTube is not playing ball. Sorry, this is a bit of a mess, lads. I will sort this out in a sec. I need to get back to the control room on YouTube to look at the actual chat. Morning, bro. Right. Here we go. Finally. Right. Let's get started then. Tottenham tears, Spurs watch. I said it on the pod yesterday. Walladinho, morning, bro. All it's done is made fan. Right, okay. Let's go. Morning, everyone. Welcome back to the stream. For anyone new around here, I do these pretty much every weekday morning on YouTube. We just come on and chat Spurs. Apologies for the technical difficulties at the start. Sometimes things just don't go as smoothly as you want, but I hope you got through that. I hope you're going to enjoy this. Just a reminder to go and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Ben Bowman closing on 2K subs, as you can see. Did a video yesterday to stream what we learned from Tottenham 4th K-League 3. There's some good content. I'm going to do my Premier League predictions. They'll be out later. And then go and follow me on TikTok as well. And then on my other TikTok page as well here. And also give me a little follow on Twitter. That'd be much appreciated as well. Right, so lots to talk about today. Lots and lots to talk about. With Dominic Solanke as well. Benny Blanco, Archie, how you doing, mate? Tottenham Tears has a longer quote. Okay, we'll get that up as well. We're going to talk about Solanke. We're going to talk about Pedro Neto. We're going to talk about Scott McTominay. We're going to talk about... what else are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about the Bayern game tomorrow. There's some good quotes on Jamie Donnelly about his potential loan. Good interview with Destiny Doggy as well. There's also been some news concerning the stadium this morning. As well in terms of future events there. But let's start with Solanke. That's the only really place to start. So we obviously saw last night Fabrizio Romano, the transfer bomber. Tottenham exploring move for Dominic Solanke. He is among the targets for Spurs. Difficult deal as he's a key player for Bournemouth. No official bid so far. Spurs are exploring options to bring a new striker and potentially new winger based on opportunities. It's funny because Solanke is a name that I think has been rumoured for a long time with Spurs. This is kind of going back the last few months. Alistair Gold, who we're going to obviously talk about, has come out and said on many occasions that Spurs have interest in him. Alistair Gold has reported this morning that it's understood Bournemouth are bracing themselves for a potential departure of Dominic Solanke. Someone just said in the chat there's a longer quote on Tottenham Tears, so let me just bring that up. Now, Bournemouth are understood to be bracing themselves for the potential departure of Dominic Solanke. Tottenham are understood to have Dominic Solanke among their list of potential striker targets who could also potentially offer players in part exchange if they were to make a move for him. Ange has confirmed that Spurs are focused on signing a new striker this month. So there was... Alistair Gold just put this out from the press conference. Football London, there's so many ads on this website, man. So he has said, Ange Postecoglou has confirmed to Football London that Tottenham are focused on signing a new striker this month and one that fits his very specific mould. Spurs have been linked with a number of strikers this summer as Postecoglou looks to bolster the front line. Tottenham are understood to have Bournemouth Dominic Solanke amongst the targets. Tottenham could potentially offer players in part exchange for Solanke. It'd be interesting to see who that could potentially be. Solanke is one of a few potential options for North London outfit who have also looked at, amongst others, Lille's Jonathan David and Sporting's Victor Gyökeres, although the latter is the subject of interest from a number of Europe's top sides. Football London spoke to Postecoglou on Friday out in South Korea about the type of striker he wants at Tottenham. And he's not been tied down to a particular type. At Celtic, I had Kyogo, who was a sort of out-and-out number 9. And in Japan, I've always had a striker. It just depends. Like last year, we had to be a bit creative. It's fair to say, but if Harry would have stayed, I would have definitely used him, he said. So I think for us, what's more important is the type of striker we get. We play a certain way. We demand certain things from a physical perspective, something I think Solanke excels in. From the technical aspects of it, that's going to be a striker that fits the mould. It's still the area of the park. We're probably the finish when I talk about squad-wise at the moment. So that's obviously a focus for us. Postecoglou has technical director Johan Lang on the recruitment front to help him. Irrespective of the approach, I like to think I've always been pretty clear on what I want. Interesting. He also says in terms of the overall kind of transfer strategy, he says, Football London put it to Postecoglou that he wanted a stronger squad this season to handle all of the different competitions yet so far has only got 2 new faces and 18-year-olds in Archie Gray and Lucas Bergvall. The Spurs boss said transfers will happen this month and that he's not getting emotional about the situation because he believes that the transfer overhaul at the club is bigger than many people perhaps thought. I don't think it'll all get done in this window. I never believe in quick fixes, and I think I said that it would be great if we got our business done early, but I've always maintained a discipline not to go off and sort of get too emotional through these times. It's a difficult time. This is the part of the season where I've probably got the least control of decisions, and I've learned to stay disciplined and make sure we do what we set out to do. We've added 2 young guys, but I also think there's been growth from other guys last year, which naturally makes us stronger. But yeah, we obviously still got a hand in this window, but I think we'll go beyond this window. This wasn't just tinkering around the edges when I took over. It needed a big shift from where it was. I was just thinking about last year's preseason, you know. I reckon 50% of the people who were on that tour are probably not here now. So we've already done a hell of a lot and we don't need to do as much, but I still think because it's not just about having success one year. What you're trying to do is build hopefully another cycle of success, and that'll take a little bit longer. So basically, what he's trying to say is that Spurs will do business, and also that the squad is continuing to grow because these players are getting more used to the system from last year. It's about getting players out as it is getting in terms of the importance. So very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Can we not turn this into a protest, please? This is definitely not a protest. Unless you're talking to someone in the chat. What do we reckon then? Solanke, Tottenham explore move for Solanke. It's going to be a lot of money. He's got a £65 million release clause. It's very, very interesting that I don't know about you guys, but I kind of always got the impression that a winger was the main target as that forward option, but it maybe seems now that Spurs are gunning for a striker rather than a winger. Well, not necessarily rather than a winger, but potentially as more of a priority. Solanke, the fact that they're bracing themselves for him to potentially leave. So this is what Alex Gold tweeted. I believe he tweeted this, at the early hours of the morning, 4:59am. Obviously, he's in Korea, so I'm not sure what time that would have been there. As I reported previously, Spurs have long liked Dominic Solanke. Guesty and I have spoken frequently on the podcast about how well we think he'd suit the Postecoglou system, which we'll talk about. There'll be a video on the channel, hopefully on Monday, guys, more of a kind of tactical breakdown of Solanke and how he would fit for Spurs, so watch out for that and sort of give my opinions on it more there. Finish off all the moves. He would be big money, homegrown and difficult to sign, but he'd work well. Obviously, there is a reported £65 million release clause in Solanke's contract that is available to be triggered by the Big Six, obviously, which Tottenham are part of. So we will see what happens, but there's a lot I want to talk about on Solanke, so we'll get into that. But let's go to the chat quickly first. Sui says it doesn't sound like anything new. Yeah, Spurs have been interested in Solanke for a while. Ange said he wants to win the league, yet he signs Werner, Solanke and Johnson as a forward line. Mate, I don't think it's that nuanced. Of course he's going to say that our ambition is to win the league. Like, managers are going to say that. Of course they are. Werner was signed as a loan signing. Johnson is very young with a lot of potential. Let's just not do this. Travis said, I would highly suggest... Oh, yeah, reading the Ali piece. Archie Quinn. Anyone else find it weird? Fab labelled it as an exclusive when we've known all year that we're interested in Solanke. That's a very good point. Mako says, Levy out. It's the same over and over. Every season over again. We bring in a few $100 million every year and try to spend nothing. We will never win the league under Levy, and I've been waiting 44 years. Yeah, whatever. Travis says, end of the article, Ange very much tames expectations for the window. Yeah, I did kind of get that vibe. But I still think we'll do business. Do you think this means that Richarlison will be sold? I can't see a world in which Spurs sign Solanke and keep Richarlison. Spurs are going to be raging that Thiago Pinto's been running his mouth about interest. What do you mean about Solanke? Can we not turn this into a process? I agree, yeah. 58 people watching, only 11 likes. Get the likes up, guys. Yeah, let's get the likes up. Let's subscribe as well, guys. Be massively appreciated. Feels like the post-Bale window all over again. Why does it feel like that? Bearing in mind we signed, 7 players in that window? Striker plus winger and a midfielder by the end of the window, hopefully. But yeah, let's talk about Solanke, because I think there's a massive misconception around Solanke and this one good season narrative. I don't get it personally. I don't think it's fair on Dominic Solanke. I don't think it makes a lot of sense when you actually kind of dig into the numbers for one, but also for his importance to that Bournemouth side. And I think the best way to start is by going through the numbers. So Solanke, Dominic Solanke. First of all, let's look at this. Lily White Rose, same number as got. This is kind of how I feel about it. Same number of goals as Watkins and Foden last season, 19 in the league. Very good at pressing from the front. Lots of his goals come the exact way we play, with low-driven crosses across the face of goal. Homegrown, played all 38 league games for Bournemouth last season. That's something that we need, durability. Again, Richarlison doesn't miss all of the season, but you need someone who's going to be able to be relied upon year after year, and that's what Solanke brings. As well as goals, and we saw that last year. So Solanke, last season in the Premier League, 19 goals, 3 assists. And let's clear up this whole one good season thing, right? Because last year, in 42 games in all comps, he scored 21 goals. That's a goal every other game. 19 in 38 in the Prem, 1 in 1 in the FA Cup, 1 in 3 in the EFL Cup. Season before that, he scored 7 goals and got 7 assists in the Premier League. I think you can add 3 assists to that for the Prem as well last year. Yes, he did take penalties, but I think he only scored 3 penalties last season, so 16 non-penalty goals, still pretty good. Last season before, he got 7 goals and got 7 assists. Year before that, he got 30 goals in the Championship, 15 goals in the Championship the year before, and then before that, he got 4 goals in the Premier and 0 goals in the Premier League. These first 2 seasons, he was 20 and 21. Then they got relegated to the Championship, and that's where he started to go like this. 15, then 30. This season, 22-23. Let's have a look at Bournemouth's. I've got Bournemouth's historical position. So 18-19, like I said, they finished 14th with 45 points, so just above that relegation marker. They got relegated the following season. Then they finished 6th in the Championship. Then they got promoted, where he scored 30 goals. Then 15th. Again, that season, they finished with 39 points. It was a very tight relegation battle. And they finished 12th last year. I want to go to this season, the 22-23 season with Bournemouth, because Spurs fans will remember fixtures. Spurs fans will remember, let's go all the way back. This game, right? This game at White Hart Lane, where Bournemouth beat us 3-2 towards the end of the season. Solanke scored in that game. He was absolutely outstanding against us. And when you put it in the context of the fact they were a relegation-threatened side, turbulent, obviously Gary O'Neill came in and saved them, did really well. Solanke was unbelievable in this game. He scored a brilliant, brilliant goal. And I think this was kind of the start of that real arc in terms of that trajectory upwards in the Premier League. He works so hard. He presses so well. And again, you're not going to score 30 goals, right, playing a relegation-threatened team like that. He put the team on his back in terms of the workload. He got 7 goals, 7 assists that season. That's not that bad at all for a really struggling Bournemouth side that had a horrible first half of the season. I really don't think it's that bad. And then last season, you bring in Iraola, you play front-footed attacking football, you make positive signings, creative players, wide players with pace that are going to create those chances for Solanke. He scores 19 goals, and he was excellent. It's not just about the goals, it's about his off-the-ball work as well. Ronnie there says 134 games in the Premier League, 29 goals. I don't think that's relevant. I really don't think that's relevant. Like I said, these first few years, obviously 21 appearances for Liverpool in the Premier League in 2017-18. A lot of those would have been off the bench. He would have been, 18 then? 18, 19? Sometimes it takes strikers longer to develop and longer to really find their feet. We saw, obviously, Kane was younger, but we saw how many loans it took someone like Harry Kane. And again, Kane is an immensely talented striker, and not every striker is Harry Kane. But if you go to Victor Gyökeres, Victor Gyökeres is the same age as Dominic Solanke, a little bit younger. They're both 26, and Gyökeres has just turned 26. Last season in the league, he got 29 goals and 10 assists in 32 games. That is an incredible record. But again, last season in the Championship, he scored 22 goals. Solanke scored 30 in his best ever Championship season, and then he gets the move to Sporting. He gets the move to Sporting and gets 43 in 50 games, which is incredible. Of course, it's incredible. But like I said, Solanke and Gyökeres are both good examples of the fact that sometimes it takes strikers longer to develop. So I think when you compare them both, Solanke's done it in a harder league. Yes, he scored less goals. And don't get me wrong, look, I think Gyökeres, if he came to the Premier League, I think he'd be good. But would Gyökeres score 30, 35 in the Prem? I'm not sure he would. That's not to say that he'd be bad. And if Tottenham signed Gyökeres, I would be excited. But I don't see this thing of... I don't see a world in which Gyökeres is like a much better option for Tottenham than Solanke. That's my opinion. Let me know in the chat. But one thing I wanted to talk about as well with Solanke was this. Obviously, Lily White Rose touched on it in this tweet here. Lots of goals came from the exact way we play with low-driven crosses across the face of goal. If you look at his goal map last season, two goals from outside the box. This was like a really nice chip where the goalkeeper came rushing out against Brighton, and a good finish. This one was against Manchester United, where, if anyone remembers this goal where Bournemouth played United towards the end of the season, this was a Harry Kane-esque shrug off the man, Harry Kane goal against Chelsea, low driven into the bottom corner from outside the box. And then, I think he scored 2 penalties, or 3 penalties maybe. Oh, he missed a penalty, so 2 penalties. So 17 goals from open play. 2 penalties. And then 2 from this kind of range. That was an incredible header against Forest. And I can't remember this one against Villa. But you look at all the rest of them. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 odd goals, all from around the 6-yard box. And then the rest of them are from tight angles and also just getting in the end of low crosses. Bournemouth away to Manchester United last season. I can't show you the goal because of copyright. Low cross, like people are saying, lovely deft little finish on the end of it. Think of Richarlison's goal against Liverpool, for example, at Anfield. And again, Richarlison is suited to the way that we play 100%, but I think Solanke is a better option in terms of his all-round game. I think he's a better technician than Richarlison. I think his link-up play is slightly better, and I think Solanke is going like this. I really do believe that. His goal against Luton, I think, too, shows his ability in quick feet and tight spaces. Yeah. Yeah, Travis, 100%, mate. Go and have a watch of Solanke's goals from last season. The away game at Nottingham Forest, where he scores this header from a corner, he scores a hat-trick in this game. They are 2 unbelievable headers, and then the other goal is a really good poacher's instinct when he gets on the end of like a knockdown and just taps it, toe pokes it in. But yeah, man, I think, look, I understand people have reservations about the price. I understand why people are concerned about his goal record in terms of 29 games to 29 goals in 134 games. But I just think there's so much more context and nuance to it than that. I really do. Like, I think it's so much more than that. You've got a striker who is only going one way, in my opinion, in Solanke. He's so hard working for the team. And I think in a team that's going to get a lot of chances, like Spurs, like we saw with Bournemouth last season. Obviously, Bournemouth finished 12th in the league, were much better than they have been in previous years, played really good football under Iraola. He's going to get chances, and he's going to get chances at Spurs, so if he does come. So, yeah, again, 13 of his shots came from fast counter-attacks, again, a way that Spurs kind of like to play. And again, shots inside the box, 97, and a lot of them are kind of all around that same area where the goals come from. So, I think Solanke is kind of getting judged unfairly. And like I said, I just want Spurs fans to think back to this game where he excelled against us took a couple of seasons ago. But we shall see what happens. We shall see. Let's go to the chat there. Multi-channel says, Levy ain't paying £65 million for Solanke. Only deal we will do is 30-40 million, a couple of players against them. Yeah, again, it'll be a lot of money, but like you said, Spurs have apparently come out and said, well, Spurs have apparently willing to offer players in the deal. Fitness is a massive factor. I agree. Again, played 38 games last season. Ash7 says, away at Old Trafford, he was insane. He was unbelievable away at Old Trafford for Bournemouth last year. Comparable to Ollie Watkins, getting better with better quality around him. Exactly. Watkins is 28, and Watkins had his best season last season. You know, I'm not saying that Watkins has done the same as Solanke in terms of it's maybe not taking him as long, but sometimes strikers take a little bit longer to develop and mature, and I think Gyökeres is a good comparison for that and a good example. How old is Richie? I think Richie's 25, 26. Maybe he's the same age as Solanke, actually. Maybe he's 27. Maybe he's older than him. Sorry. Frankie Kiernan says, people gave the same excuses for the Richarlison signing for 60 million, now people say he's bad. We could be signing Bamford and our fans will convince themselves he's class. If you're saying that as a way to say that you're comparing Solanke to Bamford, I think you're miles off it, to be honest, Frankie, but that's your opinion. If Solanke is 60 million, then it's a bad deal. Totally agree. Solanke is Premier League proven and homegrown. I don't think Solanke is a bad deal for 60 million. You've got to remember 60 million in this market. The market isn't the greatest in terms of strikers. Well, actually, generally, but I think strikers isn't too bad. I think it's quite a good amount of options out there. I think it depends as well what your priorities are with Spurs. What Spurs' priorities are. If Spurs' priority is to go and sign a striker, I'd be happy for them to spend big. I'd be happy for them to spend big, and then see what happens with a winger. After that as well, if we sell Richarlison. So yeah, I'm happy for Spurs to kind of move on and get this done. Let's get a poll in the chat, and again guys, make sure to subscribe as well. I'm going to be doing these I'll be back doing these every morning from next week. I have a break from these lives at the weekend, but I will be live on Sunday afternoon, breaking down the Bayern Munich game, which we'll talk about a bit in this live. But obviously I wanted to focus a lot on Solanke. Like I said, there will be a video on the YouTube channel on Monday, hopefully, about Dom Solanke. Would you sign Dominic Solanke? Going to get a poll in the chat now. Yes, no. Guys, make sure to get your comments in, and you can get your super chats in as well if you want to. Travis says, the three main strikers our fans would want, Watkins, Toney, Gyökeres, are all prime examples of late bloomers. I think Solanke's time at Chelsea and Liverpool is just skewing people's judgment. I totally agree with that. I do totally agree. Like I said, Nathan Clark tweeted something. I don't know whether I've got it up here. If not, I'll just search it. It was so bang on last night. Where was it? I think this was it. So he quoted it and just said he's good, which that is very true. He also said, this is so true. He said, it's amusing to me that only a few years ago, Solanke being prem proven would be in significant regard, whereas the likes of Gyökeres and Jimenez, who I get so many comments being like, Spurs should sign Santiago Jimenez, would be seen as high-risk players from low-quality league. Now the narrative is flipped, and Solanke is boring/mid, and they're alluringly exotic. I think Nathan has hit the nail on the head there. I think people have so long... I think a few years ago, people would be saying Solanke all over because he's Premier League proven, but people are getting confused by this one season. Sorry, Ash, I did see your comment, mate, about the top speed to Van der Ven. I did see that. Sorry, let me go back. I forgot to read it out. Apologies. Where is it? I feel like it was at the start of the stream. Solanke, 36.1 kilometres an hour. Van der Ven, 37 kilometres an hour. I do see the vision. We lack someone that gets into the box and on the end of crosses when Johnson and Son are putting down the wing. Not a fan of the price. Fair enough, but I totally agree. Nordiak, thank you for the super chat, mate. I appreciate that. I do appreciate that very much. No hate, Ben, but genuine question. Would you prefer Solanke to Toney or Gyökeres? I think Solanke... don't get me wrong. If Spurs signed Gyökeres, I'd be very happy. Of course, but I think Solanke, like I said, you can't tell. What's the difference between Gyökeres and Solanke in terms of their paths? Solanke scored more goals in the Championship than Gyökeres did. Yes, Gyökeres had an insane season last year, and he does look incredible as well. Like, the eye test is important in this. He looks like a monster. But I just think Solanke, that sometimes strikers do bloom late. Watkins bloom late. Toney bloom late, as Travis said earlier. And I think Solanke is another one of them as well. I see Solanke as the option. I do see Solanke as the option. I'd be very excited if Spurs got over the line. Walladinho says they would say Solanke because he's younger and people prioritise potential. Yeah. If Solanke was 24, people would be 100%. People would be like, people would be all over it. If the report was Spurs are looking to do a deal for Solanke at around 35 million, people would be very excited. I agree. I think the price is putting people off, but for an English striker who's can potentially guarantee 20 goals. That's just the way the market is. It's just the way the market is. Today's price is not yesterday's price or 10 years ago's price, What's going on with Anthony Gordon? I just sort of got distracted there. Anthony Gordon, apparently to Liverpool, there's some rumours that could be potentially back on the cards. And also he donated £10,000 to the victims of the recent knife attack in Southport, which is great. And, we are in an absolute mess right now in terms of everything that's going on. And, yeah, makes me incredibly sad, but we are where we are. I wanted to bring this up, obviously, because in terms of the underlying numbers for last season, Solanke is actually the worst performing in some of these categories. He's got the second best XG just behind Richarlison, and Richarlison actually outperforms him in most of these categories other than Aerial Duels 1. but it's not that. It's quite close. And again, I just think when you look at the minutes played, Solanke's done that with 2,000 more minutes. So again, naturally they're going to be skewed slightly. Richarlison's numbers in terms of per 90 last season were insane, like absolutely insane. So it's easy to forget that. And look, if Richarlison can keep himself fit next season, he's a very viable striker option, 100%. But it's such a big risk. And again, the fact that he's not played any part in pre-season yet means that he's going to be very rusty going into the new season. It's going to take him a long time to get going. Yeah. Anyway. I also, this is kind of what I wanted to say. Like, this is sort of what I'm trying to be saying. Like, Axel tweeted this. The difference between people's views on Solanke and Gyökeres are quite remarkable. Both of these guys have flopped previously, but had 2 good goal-scoring seasons in the Championship and 1 in the top division. But somehow Gyökeres would be a world-class signing and Solanke would be terrible business. I think I tweeted this yesterday. I had a conversation with Spooky on Twitter. Let me see if I can pull this up. And again, guys, go and follow me. Go and follow me on Twitter. Nearly at 2.5k followers now. Where was it? Also, go and give this lad a follow. I'm sure we've all seen about this, but this kid is incredible. So, I tweeted yesterday. I think the guy's deleted the tweet. Either that or he's blocked me. Has he blocked me? THFC Micah. Oh no, we follow each other. Oh, he's just deleted the tweet then. So basically, this THFC Micah tweeted something along the lines of, it was a photo of Paratici and it was like, I miss when we were ambitious or something like that. So I tweeted saying, Paratici was great for us, but let's not get it twisted about ambition. Arguably, the players we've been linked with this summer are more ambitious than most of the signings under Paratici. Not that it makes those bad, but this is a weird narrative to spin. Also, arguably, the most ambitious target Paratici tried to land, which was Bastoni, he failed. Not necessarily his fault, and I'm not trying to speak badly on the business he did, but because he unearthed gems. But the great signings he did make wouldn't be classified as ambitious by fans. And when I say ambitious, I mean more in terms of what the general fan would deem as ambitious, i.e. spending a load of money. Paratici did great things for us that have laid the foundations for a very bright and ambitious future with Sarr and Udogie. And Spooky replied to that, ambition is having a plan and working towards it, phase by phase. How are we any less ambitious now? Always think tweets like that seem tongue-in-cheek. Anyway, Spurs were ambitious when they signed Rebrov and Soldado, Tanguy and Gio, so whatever. It's a funny one when you talk about ambition. Because I think people have got very different views on it. I think ambition for a lot of fans relates to spending money. We've signed 3 certified wonder kids this season at NMO. People saying we're not showing ambition. Exactly. If you're building a sustainable, exciting model for the future, I would class that as ambitious. And Paratici had a lot to do with that. 100%, he did. But I do find it funny how just because there is such a different perception of Spurs now and Spurs then under Paratici and under Lang, just because we're not linked with as many players and just because we're working supposedly in the dark and in the background. But I just think people have this attitude of ambition equates to money. And I find it hilarious how people sometimes be like, well, we have standards. You know, I get that a lot where people are like, I had this on a tweet yesterday. I want to go through this conversation thread I had on Twitter yesterday about Scott McTominay. And we'll come to that. Ronnie says, we are beginning to behave and look like a mid-table club. Would you say signing Solanke is behaving like a mid-table club? Bear in mind, Arsenal was supposedly linked to him before. Apparently Chelsea looked at bringing him back. Liverpool have looked at him. You know, is that showing a lack of ambition? I don't agree. Richarlison and Solanke as our best 2 strikers would be very low quality. But go and name a striker on the market that you'd rather have than Solanke, and we'll talk about it. Because case of the new shiny... Skinny Fat Huey says, case of the shiny new toys going on with the comparisons with foreign strikers to Solanke or even Tony. I agree. Look, don't get me wrong, I really rate Victor Gyökeres, but I think you're right. I think you're right. But anyway, let's move on from Solanke for now. Like I said, there'll be a video on the YouTube channel coming soon in the next few days about Solanke in more detail. Like I said, make sure you go and subscribe. Closing in on 2k subs. And go and follow the TikTok as well. Let's move on to Pedro Neto. There was some stuff yesterday. Honestly, I don't think this guy is very reliable. But we shall see. Again, there has been talk over the last few days about Pedro Neto. This what lies beneath source. I guess we'll supposedly find out what lies beneath in the next few days. That we're working to get the Neto deal done. And apparently a lot of work has gone into both deals for Eze and Neto. Again, Zeus has spoken a lot about the fact that Spurs have looked at Solanke looked at Neto a lot. I think it was here. Oh, maybe not. Also, this came out yesterday. Spurs are still keeping a very close eye on the Conor Gallagher situation. I'm not sure about that. But it's very clear that Spurs want to sign a midfielder of the profile of someone like a Ramsey, someone like a Conor Gallagher, and that brings me on to Scott McTominay. So Tottenham have been targeting some more dynamism and legs in midfield, someone who can press effectively with goal-scoring ability. Conor Gallagher and Jacob Ramsey have been the main two targets. So this leads me on to this. Where did I put it? Yesterday, these links came about. Tottenham are interested in signing Manchester United midfielder Scott McTominay. And look, let's get it straight first of all. Do I think this is going to happen? Probably not. No. But I tweeted saying, hear me out, this wouldn't be a bad signing. And that got 28k views and a lot of engagement because people wanted to give their thoughts, which is expected. I followed that tweet up saying, look, do I think Spurs should go and sign Scott McTominay? No. In terms of the midfield profile, Spurs are close so clearly. Desperate for, is he a bad option? No. Hence why I'm saying it would be a bad signing if you can't get Gallagher or Ramsey. I think the things that... I think with McTominay, I think in terms of profile, I don't actually think it'd be the worst idea for Spurs, like I said. He's 27. He'd probably cost a decent amount of money for someone who's not necessarily guaranteed starter and be a squad player. That's probably why I'd probably not do it. I'm not saying I should definitely do it, but I just think that with his ability to arrive late in the box, with that powerful engine that he's got up and down, Spurs are vulnerable in transition defensively, and he'll help out with that. He's a good box crasher, arriving late in the box, scored 10 goals last season as well for Man United. I just don't think it'd be the worst option. I actually did sort of go into it in more detail on my TikTok, so maybe let's watch that video where I kind of explain it a bit more. Tottenham fans, hear me out. Hear me out, all right? Maybe the lack of transfers is sending me a little bit delusional, but I don't think Scott McTominay will be a bad signing for Tottenham. So it's been reported that Spurs are interested in signing Scott McTominay, and I got rinsed on Twitter for saying, hear me out, this wouldn't be a bad signing. And I get that it's underwhelming, but when you look at the profile of midfielder that Spurs are clearly after this summer, it actually makes a lot of sense. Spurs, according to The Athletic, have been targeting some more dynamism and legs in midfield, someone who can press effectively with goal-scoring ability. Conor Gallagher and Jacob Ramsey have been the two main targets, both of which I would prefer over Scott McTominay. But if you're looking at it from the point of view of looking for a midfielder in that mould, Scott McTominay does tick a lot of boxes. 10 goals and 3 assists for Man United last season. He's brilliant at arriving late into the box. And he's a real engine in midfield. Look, there's a lot of cons to this as well. His age being 27, he'd be a lot of money for someone who would probably come and be a rotation option in that squad. And I don't necessarily see it happening unless Spurs sell someone like Rodrigo Bentancur, potentially as well as Giovanni Lo Celso. But I just don't think it would be as bad an option as some Spurs fans have made it out to be. And I actually think Ange Postecoglou could turn him into a better player than he is now. I think in our system he would suit that transitional based style of play. He's not the sort of midfielder you want knitting 1-2 touch passes like we've got with Lucas Bergvall. He's completely different to that. But when Spurs do play in transition, he's a great ball carrier, he's got a great engine, and it's clear that Spurs are vulnerable to counter-attacks. And I think Scott McTominay, from a defensive point of view, helps ease those worries as well. He's incredibly hard-working. Look, I'm not saying Spurs should go and definitely do this, but I don't think it's a bad option. Yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on the McTominay situation. Sometimes it's just easier to show you guys that rather than go over it again. You guys let me know. Look, he will probably go to Fulham, and I agree. Gary Hunter says he's not an Ange player is very false. I think he very much is an Ange player, referencing that top comment. Yeah, I don't agree with that either. I think that I explained it in my replies to him. He's a Liverpool fan, this geezer. I can't... Oh, well, it's not showing all the replies. I said disagree on being an Ange player, to be honest. When you look at the profile of midfielders we're clearly targeting, not saying we should sign him, but in terms of profile, it's not a bad fit. Arrives late, scores goals, real hard worker, good engine, good ball carrier. He wouldn't start, and that's why I'd be against it in terms of spending the money. But it's a long season and you need different options in the squad. His age, wages and the fee are a put-off, but as a squad player, it's really not as bad an option. Gets you 10 goals and works hard. Look, I'm not saying Spurs should be in any rush to do this whatsoever. I've lost it now. I've lost the... there we go. I'm not saying Spurs should be in any rush to do this whatsoever, but Spurs are clearly targeting a midfielder of that kind of profile. So I'm saying if they end up with McTominay, it's not the worst option. I'm not saying Spurs should do it, but Binky says, I think Bentancur is good enough for the Gallagher-Ramsey role. Again, I kind of said in the video, like, I don't see this happening unless we sell someone like Bentancur as well. Bentancur's future is a very interesting one that I think kind of requires maybe its own video and own conversation, because I think there's a lot to talk about. Gallagher's Kaka next to McTominay. Darren Fearon says we're a possession-based team. We have a go at Højbjerg not being comfortable and not yet being good on the ball, yet we're after McTominay can't pass. McTominay wouldn't play as that 6 though. Højbjerg would play as a deeper midfielder. And again, I'm not saying that you start McTominay in every single game. That's definitely not what I'm saying at all. But you know, Spurs are also a transition side. We're not a possession side all the time. I think it's good to have. It's like I said, it's a long old season, and I think it's good to have these little cheat codes within your squad to allow you to switch up the way that you play. And again, I'm not saying McTominay is a cheat code, but you get what I'm saying. I think there's different options for sure. But again, I'm not saying Spurs should do this, but I don't think it's as bad an option as people make out. I want to show you this batshit mental interaction that I had with someone on Twitter yesterday. I don't know whether anyone follows this guy. Where is it? Here we go. This guy, this Badder THFC. Does anybody know this guy? So he quoted my tweet. He quoted this tweet. Look, do I think Spurs should go and sign McTominay? No. Saying, don't move the goalposts. So I replied saying, you're acting like I've gone from this would be an amazing signing to no, we should definitely avoid. I put together my deeper thoughts on it in the thread underneath. You're reaching. He deleted the tweet. The fact you'd be okay with McTominay is hilarious, blah, 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 blah. He's blah, blah, blah. Deleted the other tweet. Sorry for being rude. I still massively disagree with some of your opinions. He came after me and then started deleting tweets because he realised that he was massively reaching. I thought he tried to, like, he's got double the size of the following of me on Twitter. And I think he thought he was going to do something. 2 likes. 3K impressions, 2 likes. He's such a weirdo, mate. Like, it's just... what was the reply? Yeah, he was like... No one will say this, but you're accepting it. Delusional. Apparently, I'm delusional for saying that McTominay would not be a bad option. It was just a mad interaction. But yeah. Anyway, that's kind of my thoughts on McTominay. Do you think Spurs? This could be Son's last season at Spurs. I see the club cashing in next summer. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe he takes a back seat more the season after, next season. Who knows? Who knows, mate? I think we just got to see how he goes this year. Josh Hayden says, also, in regard to Solanke, why sign him? Same profile as Lancashire, not much better than Richie. I say we integrate and bring up Lancashire. Solanke's a waste of money. N17 Stu says, Josh, you can't say Lancashire is as good as Solanke. I get that. I do. I get what you're saying. Like, they're similar profile. But again, Lancashire is 19. You know, if you sell, what's the harm in selling Richarlison, having Solanke as your main striker, and then having Lancashire to him as the backup to kind of learn from him and be moulded to play in the same way, someone who's like 7 years younger. So, yeah, man. Let's move on from McTominay. So we've done transfer bits. We've talked about Solanke. We've talked about Neto. We've talked about McTominay. I want to get your thoughts on this as well. Eze would 100% start in Maddison, by the way. I tweeted this yesterday. That got people talking. Right, where are we? So, let's talk about Destiny Udogie. Destiny Udogie is potentially back for the Bayern game at the weekend. Speaking of Destiny, he's been chatting about Jamie Donnelly in an interview with Alistair Gold. He said, honestly, he's been great. I know Jamie really well. He's an incredible player with a lot of quality, so that I know what he can do, and he can be good in any position. There was also, Gary, you sent this to me, Jamie Donnelly has a lot of interest from Championship and League One clubs. Tottenham yet to make a decision what to do with the midfielder. I genuinely think League One is too much of a step down for Jamie. I think Championship, definitely. If he does go out on loan. Used to work at my local Sainsbury's. Good worker. Fair play. Oh, also, completely forgot to talk about this. Amanda Staveley is raising money in a fund to purchase a Premier League club with her primary target, Tottenham Hotspur. Very interesting stuff. Speaking of more club stuff, the club is delighted to announce that a resolution to grant planning permission to allow up to 30 major non-football events at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium per calendar year, subject to a S106 agreement, was agreed. Some more details on that. Tottenham have announced the staging of major non-football events throughout the year also creates additional recurring source of revenue for the club to reinvest in its football activities, a key part of the financial model. Yeah, we've heard this before. Tottenham have announced that a 24-hour priority ticking window will also be introduced for concerts, ensuring local residents are at the front of the queue to see world-class acts perform on their doorstep. I mean, some of the tickets are incredibly steeply priced, so might want to reduce those. Should we do a quick team we'd like to see against Bayern? So Ben, look at what Chris tweeted about Neto. I will tag you. I've already seen that, mate. I don't know about that Chris guy. Is Chris actually legit? Again, this isn't necessarily the team. Let's go through it. What team do we want to see on Saturday against Bayern? This was left from my tactics board yesterday from the stream. So this isn't the team I put forward. I mean, it will be Vicario in goal. Let's go through this together, and we can name the team we kind of want to see. Like I said, this isn't the team. I didn't put this team together for this. Excuse me. I put it together yesterday for a video that I was filming. The stadium naming rights are still nowhere to be seen. Yeah, well, I mean, I imagine that will get sorted out at some point. Apparently Fabrizio has credited Krish before, really? I mean, we'll see with Neto. I mean, I love Spurs sign Pedro Neto, but I've just seen a tweet where we could do yeah, I've seen that, Stephen McCabe, yeah. Sorry, late to the stream, but tell me this. Eze and Gyökeres or Solanke and Neto? Oh, that is... should we do that? That is an interesting... I mean, I think a lot of people say Eze and Gyökeres. I'd imagine Eze and Gyökeres or Solanke and Neto. Eze. I'm gonna put it in a poll. But yeah, get your chats in, guys. Get your super chats in as well. Right, that poll started. Right, let's put this team together for Bayern on Saturday. Then, what are we thinking? Do we think? I mean, it's probably gonna be Johnson on the right, isn't it? Probably Kulu again through the middle, we reckon. What are we saying? Kulusevski through the middle? I think Basuma will start, definitely, yeah. Son on the left, I'd say. Do we reckon Maddison starts on Saturday? Poseidon hinting that Veliz could be using Solanke deal. Don't know if he means loan or permanent. There were links to Veliz and Bournemouth before. I'm pretty sure. What do we reckon? Sarr and Bergvall again? I think it will be Basuma. What do we reckon? I don't think a doggy will be fit yet, but I think he might play some minutes. Do we reckon Emerson at the back with Dragusin, or do we reckon Gray again? Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if it's that. I think it could be this on Saturday. What do we reckon? Yeah, Nordiak, I've seen it, mate. If it's the one from yesterday, I'm pretty sure we showed it in the stream. Bergvall to start. Richie for Solanke. I think Maddis starts this time. I want to see Phillips. I think it might be that. I think it might be that. Let me just quickly... Is this new, these tweets about Neto? All I do... Oh, you just tagged me. Yeah, mate, I saw that yesterday. We've already talked about that Neto thing. We've already talked about it. I wouldn't be surprised if this is nearly true. I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't know really if this source is actually any legit. Who knows? I'm not gonna get too excited about it yet, but I wouldn't mind that at all. Right. And just let Emerson rest, please. Yeah, no. Love that we're playing our entire preseason defence without any of our defenders. I mean, Dragusin is literally right there. Maybe Bergvall for Sarr and Maddis for Bergvall, potentially, yeah. Although I think Sarr against Bayern will be quite key. I think the Maddis starts. Should we put Maddison in there? Yeah. Maybe you're right. I think, yeah, could be something like this, I reckon, for the Bayern game. Again, guys, there will be for the Bayern game, there will be a watch along on TikTok tomorrow. Kick off at 12 o'clock, I believe. So come and join me over there for that. And again, as well, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. That massively helped me out. But yeah, I think that's probably a good place to leave it, lads. I think we've kind of touched over everything. Like I said, there's some good stuff on YouTube. Go and watch that. Go and subscribe to the channel. Make sure to get in the comments as well if you're watching this after the stream. Like if you're watching this not live. I do these every morning in the weekdays. And like I said, there'll be a live stream on Sunday to kind of look back at the Bayern game and break it down, almost like this one here, what we learned from Tottenham 14 K-League. So yeah, guys, that's where I'm going to leave it. I hope you're all good. I hope you have a good weekend. I'm filming the Rondo podcast tonight, so look forward to that when it comes out. My Premier League predictions will be out on the YouTube channel later. And yeah, I hope you guys will have a good weekend. Hopefully a good result tomorrow. And like I said, join me on the watch along on TikTok. I'll be live from around just before 12 o'clock on there tomorrow. On the march to 30k followers. So if we can get there very, very close to 2k, I want to get to 2k before the end of the weekend, if possible. So if you guys could help me get over the line with that, we're very, very close. So that would be massively, massively appreciated. Look, thanks all for getting involved as usual. Ryan, I appreciate that, mate. I appreciate that, bro. Fittingly, guys, I'm just going to show you this. I'm going to give you a bit of an insight. Look how many subscribers we're on. Hey? A fitting way to end the stream. 1882. A fitting way to end the stream there. To give you a little bit behind the curtain. We're on 1882 subscribers. That is a sign. Jack, appreciate that, mate. Right. Have a good one, lads. I hope you have a good weekend. And up the Spurs.